Welcome everybody to our energy talk here on Skype Live, where we do our online meditations daily with the help of our wonderful volunteers here in the Sacred Self-Healing Community. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for watching this. My name is Jona Bryndis, and I'm a professional energy healer and trainer of other energy healers. And once we get talk about topics that line up with our collective energies are the energies that are surrounding us, that are basically coming in from the outside. They're the canvas on which our personal energies, our personal developments, and our personal life take place. So it creates a sort of the terrain for all of the things that we go through, and because this is typically something that energetically sensitives pick up on prior to, let's say, the masses, represent, so we pick up on topics without knowing what these topics are. That's why we do these energy talks, to put it into perspective, and for most of us also to allow the spiritual contextualization of things. Yes, if you noticed, I just got a nail job by a bunch of 6-year-olds at our school. We're having summer camps going on. So don't mind my weird little colors here. So there's a thing that is obviously in some of you guys' minds that I want to address today. I have a bunch of questions that I am frequently asked. And one of these questions is, for example, how my energy forecasts, but also my energy talks, how they relate to astrological constellations. Anybody here live who has a good sense for the transits that are going on in astrology? Anybody who is, like we're talking about astrology right now? Okay, so those of you who are familiar with astrological constellations and transits, not just like full moon and new moon, those are things that we all pick up on, guys. Quite frankly, lunar cycles are part of our human experience, even without being energetically sensitive. The police department knows that, the hospitals know that, all the government agencies know that, because there are certain things that happen around full moon and new moon cycles, but it affects the psyche of humans. We've talked about this before, but there are some things that are greater than just what has this, say, ultra direct impact on us here on the planet, that come from, from the cosmos. Okay, so the cosmological components beyond, let's say, our solar system. Astrology primarily looks at our solar system and maybe the galaxy. There are some bigger aspects of this, and some of you guys here just posted. I think this is uncoordinated. Somebody mentioned Schumann resonances. Yes, and a picture of that. Okay, so Schumann resonance has to do with the frequency of the Earth itself, the planet itself. Yeah, so just like how we, in this sort of microcosmic way, as humans and spirit beings in this 3D form, go through daily fluctuations and oscillations, the planet actually goes through those as well. And unbeknownst to many people, maybe just a few scientists, the planet has much longer cycles than us humans, because our lifespan is like, 70, 80, 90 years. But the planet's lifespan up until now, at least from what we know, is right around 4 billion years. So there's a different kind of rhythm that determines certain things here on this planet. But then there's also the interaction between this planet and the rest of the cosmos. Astrology, like the early sciences of our solar system, look at, how the interaction between the different planets here is right around us. Also, what we can see. Yeah, we can see the big planets on our night sky. So it's natural that we developed a bit of a feel for that whenever, let's say, this kind of constellation or this kind of planet appears on the night sky, that there are, certain things that happen in a higher frequency maybe than not. But I was actually going to point out something that is much less tangible than that, namely cosmic radiation. So cosmic radiation is something that comes in, and it's a multitude of things that play into this. Solar flares, obviously, that they come through a certain type of radiation and hit us. Yeah, they create a certain ionic sort of load, yeah, that hits us and also our electronics. But there's also radiation that comes in just from the universe, from the cosmos. And the interesting part about looking at all these different layers, yeah, looking at the emotional tension levels and the energy of individual people here on this planet, and groups of people, corporations, and looking at astrology and looking at lunar cycles and looking at Schumann resonance and looking at solar flares and looking at cosmic radiation, there is a thing that is quite interesting right now. Does anybody know? Does anybody want to guess? I mean, this picture, if you're not familiar with Schumann resonances, may not tell you a lot, but it does kind of like look odd. What's the unusual thing right now? Looking at the more sort of broader perspective here of what we are exposed to, what our terrain is right now, yeah? Including the cosmological perspective. Syria, you posted this. What do you mean to say with this picture?
Yes, we undergo huge changes. It's getting more and more like yeah, everything is speeding up.
Speeding up, more intense,
Yeah,
bigger, bigger.
and the fights between the dark forces, and we finding our place in between.
So there is stuff going on, okay,
What?
beyond our personal lives, yeah, our personal dramas, what our nations are going through, or what our families are going through, or even what our planet is going through. This is bigger. This is not just hitting us. This is hitting the other planets too. Yeah, it's very important to sometimes broaden our perspective out of this sort of egocentric, yeah, or even earth-centric way, and look at like, whoa, there's like massive stuff going on. We have no clue what this means, but we do experience it. And that's kind of like the bottom line with collective energies. We can't always tell where it's going to lead and what it means, but we can feel it. In the energy forecast for June, I called this energy of June fast and furious. Do you like this? I mean, that's my sort of 3-word summary of what I just talked about for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, fast and furious. Let me ask you, how are you for the past week? Now let's just look at the past week. Last week we didn't have an energy talk. How are you experiencing your life and your interaction with other people right now? Just sort of a little bit of retrospect here, contemplation. How was your last week? Just in general, physically, emotionally, mind-wise, mentally, spiritually, energetically. Who dares? Who dares to share?
Yeah, no, I'll put my hand up,
Yes,
Matthew.
please. Hi, Matthew.
Yeah, a week ago today, I had literally a weird experience. Got suddenly very sick
Okay.
within 24 hours. There's something's happening, and my entire energy body from being okay dropped to like 0%. And I compare the experience to I've done a couple of psychedelic experiences, but it was quite interesting because when I was in it, it actually felt like I was in an ayahuasca journey.
Interesting. Okay.
And then from an energy level, it was biological. It was extreme, and it's been happening here around in our community where literally within 6 hours your energy drops out. Oof.
It's like a sort of, I mean, you saying your energy drops out or goes to zero. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just a sort of a collapse of an inner structure. Yeah, just to stay neutral. You know me. I like to
Yeah, no, but it
not
was
jump to
very interesting.
conclusions.
Correct. But one of the interesting things is that I've discussed with a few people is everyone got to a point of feeling like they were dying.
Okay, so that is a 0 point. This is
That was
yeah. The emotional
and yet
aspect of that. It makes you
correct,
feel like you want to literally give up. Like there's no point
correct,
in living. And
100%.
yeah, okay. So that's a very good description of what that subjectively can feel like.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, it again here to exercise neutrality, we can also say that it may have forced you to surrender something.
Lots. I mean, at lunchtime, I was having a meeting that was my last meeting for my 3-year journey that I was willing to invest. So it was literally, I put down this project that I've been working on for 3 years. As emotionally, I put it down on the table, and within a couple of hours, woof,
you were done with it.
It was an unbelievable fearing, because in that I actually realized there was something more to it. And when I speak to complete strangers here on their experiences, it's pretty much the same. It's been actually quite interesting because the one guy is a petrol pump attendant that I bumped into 2 days ago, and he said, "Where have you been?" And I said, "I was sick." He said, "I was too." And we literally compared notes. But at that level of, we got to, you felt like you were dying. He said, "Yes." And then
I like
after that,
that you
he's
do that. I like that you do that, Matthew. It's something that I do too. I talk a lot to like frontline workers, as I call them. People that are exposed to a lot of random human energies. Like petrol pump workers or cashiers or something. People
correct.
who form their own sort of context as to like what the energy is like, because they have to actually deal with it. I like that you do that. It helps to process your own stuff. Yeah, it helps to reconfirm it's not just me. It's not just me. There is something going on.
Correct. And then it allows that there's something going on, conversation to take place. And that's what I've had since that experience last week. Things have happened, and there's something going on, like you say, the cosmic energy, the planetary alignments. I do follow astrology, by the way, and
Okay.
It's from those the cycles, but it's just a patterning thing for me. It's
And
just
sometimes
been
it
one of my
helps.
parts.
Yeah, sometimes it helps to
Sometimes it
contextualize things.
helps, because sometimes you're feeling something and you go, "Oh, I could have been possibly feeling that." I was given a heads up, and sometimes with your work as well, you're giving us a heads up
That's
of the
really all
feelings
it
that
is.
may approach. That's
Yes.
what it is. Yes.
And to keep us calm, and also, and especially not to take everything too personally. Yeah, there's
Correct.
big cycles that are going on, large forces. Yeah, it's big right now what we're dealing with, and obviously we still are just, us. We're still just this little ego, trying to make a living and go to 3D. We stay, our own little thing. But when the forces that influence the way we feel, the way we sense, and the way we make decisions, it's good to know what those forces are, isn't it? Good to know what it is that is influencing us, yeah, on this sort of surrounding condition level, yeah, to help us maintain clarity, or to help us, navigate through, say perhaps temporary fog. Yeah, it's good to know that there's maybe, that there's a day after, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that you just have to okay, stay in your heart, breathe through this. Okay, it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. When something like that happens, Matthew, and I'm going to ask you in a moment if anyone else has experienced something extreme like that, but I want to let you know that when something like that happens, yeah, you've already figured this out. It's usually like a clearing. It's a reset. Yeah, this is very rare that we experience that in our normal life. It's more common, as you've mentioned, when you work with plant medicines or psychedelics, because the whole purpose of taking those psychedelics is to collapse the structure, the mental structure primarily, but it also affects how we feel about things, the emotional structure, and usually also how we experience it in our bodies. I'm interested, though, before I asked the group here if anyone has experienced something similar, I'm interested in this 3-year project that you mentioned. Is this something that you decided to drop? Is this something, was this like a decision that came to you? Or that was clear to you? Or did you finish the product? Did you get it closed out, done?
It's actually a bit of a lifelong dream to solve a problem in South Africa with providing internet to the underserviced areas.
Okay.
And 3 years ago, when I lost everything, and I was about to launch a business as COVID hit. So I lost everything, and then I phoned a friend and I said I was looking for a job, and he said, well, here's the project, and it was the dream project that I've been working on and off over the last 15 years. Okay, and then got that opportunity. Invented, created, got the solution, but the business ran out of money and got retrenched on the 1st of March.
Okay. So it was forced to shut down. Is that what you're saying? The business?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was forced to shut down, and yet we achieved. I'm an engineer, so from an engineering perspective, it's a dream come true. From a financial perspective, it's been taken away. But it was part of a healing for me. I definitely felt last week when this happened, it was a part of this 3-year cycle. And again, one of the things that came up in many people that I listened to was a repetitive 3-year cycle that is taking place. And it resonated with me just by hearing that from a astrological story that was told or something. So that was why
there's a review of something that came in 3 years ago. And then there's a larger cycle, and that relates actually to aspects in our personal story that came in 1996, 1997. Okay, so there's a larger.
That going back to that cycle, yes, I can. There's a feeling of connection there.
Yeah, that's the one that wants to be closed out. The last 3 years are more for review, reevaluation, and really learning from the past. What have we gained? There has been a growth in those last 3 years. Maybe in an unexpected way. Maybe we didn't succeed in what it was that we were trying, but only to show us what still needs to be improved, what still needs to be grounded. Yeah, what needs to be more, pragmatic, if you will. So maybe, Matthew, this project that you have been working on in the last 3 years is not supposed to end. It's just supposed to restructure and
this is the irony of it. Is on Wednesday I had lunch with the one guy that is probably the only guy in the country that can restructure it. So it was that critical. You know what I mean? It was, and I'm handed it over. It was a feeling of handing over that I had after this
Get
meeting.
ready to write a new story. This isn't over yet. Yeah.
I know. Magically it's turning out a week later. Okay, there's a lot's changed.
This is the problem for me as a coach, to convince people that in collapse is an opportunity to build something much, much stronger. It is so many times in our lives, guys, yeah, that when we thought that the biggest drama hit us, that's something new, something related, but maybe in a slightly different version or slightly different, approach, yeah, succeeds. There are no failures, guys. There are no failures. The only failure is to never try. Yeah, that's a failure. And that's something that we need to answer to ourselves on our deathbeds. Because if we never tried, okay, that's going to sit hard on our karmic rep sheet. Okay. But if you go out and you try something and it really comes from your heart, like Matthew described it, it's something that you feel you must do. Yeah? And it's I don't know, it's not even a question. Yeah. And it doesn't go through the first time around. And you're forced to shut it down, or it's collapsing or whatever. The next round, you're going to be wiser. You're going to be more mature. Yeah, you're going to be able to build this with a new perspective. Every time you seemingly fail, you're growing. You're improving. And June forces us to do that. Feels a bit discomforting, just a tad, for our ego, okay? Because we have to let go of some of the narratives that went along with that. Maybe we identified with our relationships or projects or businesses or whatever that are, that are affected by this. Okay, well, very good opportunity to prove to yourself that you are not that business, you are not that project, you are not that relationship. You carry that energy that can manifest that in you. And maybe it just wasn't mature enough, maybe it wasn't practical enough. There's many, many different reasons. Yeah. So Matthew, this restructuring, rebuilding time, and all of you guys who have had something similar happen to them, yeah, in the last 2-3 weeks, where something just collapsed. Okay. Reevaluate if it is a heart project, if it is something that you really feel from within. I'm going to talk about this here in a moment. And if it's still valid for you. And if it is, you got until the end of October to rebuild it in a way that it will succeed. Okay? So take that time now, guys. Mentioned this at the beginning of the year, for the forecast for this whole year. Yeah? And right now it's been coming for the last 5 months. Okay, so now it's here. And it's going to continue for the next 3 months. Yeah, that sort of sudden collapse, closure energy. Yeah, and this can affect you physically. This can affect you emotionally, mentally, in form of sudden clarity, or sudden, needing to recontextualize how you look at something, reframe how you look at something, including yourself, or spiritually. Yeah, needing to recontextualize the journey that you're on, or energetically, or all 5 at once, which for us energetically sensitives typically happens. Yeah, so one good tool for you is to first differentiate between where is this affecting me the most. Matthew just gave us a good example for how it first affected him physically, then that affected him emotionally, that affected him mentally, and through the clarity, and then it affected you energetically, Matthew, in the sense that you attracted something much greater, much bigger opportunity. Yeah, that's manifestation energy into your field. Yeah, that's how you got to look at it.
I resonate 100% with that. It's like a week ago, I felt completely at rock bottom, and this week I'm like totally in the opposite. But because it was that energy you're talking about, letting it go, let a new experience appear.
So if you are in a, like you felt Monday, at the rock bottom of your energetic integrity, okay, remember what Matthew just shared. There is a day after. Breathe through it. Maybe crawl into your hole for a day. No longer than 2 days. Okay, you got to get back into physical activity, because if you go too low for too long, your neurotransmitters and all that, starts spiraling down. So don't stay there too long. Go into physical activity. See other people. Talk to other people. I love that example with talking to the guy at the petrol pump. And allow your neurotransmitters, to pick up your emotions again. And then go into reflection. Use your higher mind to recognize what is even going on here, and perhaps to see what needs to let go of, or what the resistance is. To just become a little more clear about what is going on. And then allow yourself to use this as a new opportunity to say, okay, reset. All right, reset. So reset can sometimes feel like you're dying, but it's really just the ego that dies in that moment for a split second. And it's a very, very healthy thing. If you're asking me as energy coach, I'm actually recommending everybody to do a conscious and purposeful ego reset every day, just to stay in practice. Then it doesn't really hurt that much. If you have to let go of, I identified myself with this. I really, really wanted it, but I guess, it's not there yet, or it really wasn't true to me. So that you can let more easily go of things when they don't pan out the way your ego wanted it. Now I come to the question that I wanted to ask you. Who of you feels similar or has had similar experiences like Matthew? A really intense drop in your energy, where you perhaps for like a day or two felt like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Oh my God, this is it. I'm done. Never ever going to do this. Like this sort of generalized black and white. Black and white. That's the best way I can describe it. Anybody else? I had it. And moreover, I'm experiencing or observing the same thing that Matthew is observing. I'm experiencing people freaking out left and right. The amount of emotional drama in my life right now is like, whoa, I haven't had that in a long time. I don't even remember, like maybe when I was a teenager, where everything is an emotional drama. And I'm talking about this with sort of a tinge here, like with a little bit of sarcasm, because I'm stepping out of it. I'm not letting myself get pulled into it. Of course, I need to respect and recognize other people's emotions, but I'm not taking everything personally, and I'm looking at the energies, and it helps me to understand the bigger picture. So the bigger picture helps to recontextualize things. What we are in here, as more of a greater reflection. It sounds so ominous, but myself and so many other people, astrologers and whatnot, visionaries, prophets, and so forth, have been talking about this for a long time. It's like this great awakening, this big transformation. What does this even mean? Okay, and now you're getting a little bit of a taste for what it means. In your small microscopic world, Yeah, you, the person in your life and your relationships, it may not feel that big yet. But I can assure you that there are larger forces at work that are leading to a, well, I can't really say the word reset because that was hijacked already. Yeah, but that are leading to a complete sort of, okay, reversal of everything that we've had or that we have personally experienced. Yeah, to get it into a new level of maturity, a new level of growth. So if you've read the forecast the write-up for the forecast for June, the headline is, are you ready for the next level of growth? So that is what is happening. We are forced to grow now. And this can have different, or can lead to different experiences in our lives. Those of us who are in the habit of consciously choosing to grow, no matter what, yeah, everything that has to do with self-healing, self-transformation, self-growth, self-mastery. For us, this may not be that big of a deal. Yeah, we recognize it and we're like, oh, okay, that was unexpected. Oh, cool. Quite challenging. My ego is kicking and screaming. But I can feel it. I can feel it, that it must happen. Yeah. And I'm like, after like maybe a 24-hour debate with my ego, I'm like, okay. It wasn't 100% true to me anyway. Yeah. It's a welcome overhaul. It's a welcome, restructuring, or reviewing, renewing process. Now, for those of us, and this is the hard part, and that's the majority of people on this planet, who have been avoiding all of this, yeah? And this has to do with the old paradigm, because the old paradigm in which we all functioned, yeah, avoiding pain and fear and seeking pleasure, has created a lot of patterns in us, behavior patterns, not wanting to look at things, not wanting to confront ourselves with things, not really stepping into solutions, rather just sort of shooting from the hip and reacting to things based on desire or based on avoidance or based on survival. For those of us who are not in the training of, stepping out of that and, really seeing yourself as an energetic being, that needs to household all these physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and etheric energies, it's a lot harder. Yeah. So this great awakening, guys, is a pretty intense process. Yeah? It's like the caterpillar turning itself into a chrysalis. Yeah, for any one of you who has a little bit of biological understanding, that's a massive transformation, all the way to the DNA level. Yeah? The caterpillar turns into a butterfly, and that period, that transformation period, is chaotic, okay? But it leads to a higher octave of existence for the caterpillar, and that's what we're experiencing right now, guys, and it can be quite physical. So this month it's really good to review, your energy management on that physical level, your diet, your sleep patterns, your water intake, and your exercise, as we're undergoing this transformation that is coming in from the outside. Okay, our bodies are getting really, really tired because if you're not already attuned to this, your body can't take that. And if you're lucky, if you already attuned to it a little bit, or you've already been working on the fundamentals, of allowing your body to vibrate on a higher a frequency level, then it's just a reset experience like Matthew had it. Yeah, 24 hours. And your body is like, all right, that was just a clearing that was needed. Yeah, and I recommended in the forecast that you take care of your lymphatic system. Yeah, that is responsible for the release of all the toxins, and your vagus nerve, which is responsible to help you reset your nervous system, which you can strengthen through meditation, through things such as hot, cold showers, and lymph drainage and things like that. Yeah, like the self-care, self-love on a physical level. That for many of you, I can tell you this because I do these energetic tune-up sessions every month where I do readings for people how the next month is going to be for them. You also need to consider a dietary change. Yeah, and it may be slightly differently from how you think it should be. This will also rattle your cage in regard to some of those new age paths. Okay, we had a little bit of a talk about that on Monday. Yeah, what about meat? What about this? What about sunlight? What about all these things? Okay, how we're standing with this? Yeah, allow yourself to reevaluate that. And if you already have chronic physical issues, then take this seriously now. These high frequency this high frequency terrain that we are in right now, yeah, the planet itself resonating on a higher vibratory rate, yeah, the stuff that is coming in from the outside, yeah, not just our solar system, but from the cosmos, okay, vibrating, forcing the whole thing to vibrate on a higher frequency, okay, that needs to be supported. We need to have a really, really good energy management. Yeah. And I'm glad that we're here in this sacred self-healing environment, because here we've broken it down, and I've created a course that gives you tools on how to do this layer for layer. Yeah. But I can assure you that the next 3 months will require you to actively make that choice. You can't just do this as a hobby, yeah, or for an hour a week. This, anyway, I'm talking energy management. I'm talking about every day, 24 hours a day, even when you're sleeping. Yeah, that's for those of you who have a little bit more understanding about your etheric energy. You understand why I'm saying that, because there's a lot that happens during sleep in your energy body. Yeah, so that's really now vital for you, because you don't want to end up in that place that Matthew described, in that place of total desperation and apathy. Why? It's okay to be in it for like a 24-hour period for this reset. Okay, so imagine yourself going through that reset, and see yourself walking out of that tunnel. Because if you stay in that too long, yeah, if you get too fixated on, it's like in the Lord of the Rings, if you look at the eye for too long, it pulls you in. It's like a black hole. That's the best way to describe that energetic quality that it has. There's a gravity to it. And this has a really important spiritual significance, guys, because we are indeed being pulled in by the dark forces, and the dark forces aren't allowed to make choices for us. They cannot violate the universal law of free will, okay? But what they can do is mess with our bodies, mess with our emotions, and mess with our minds. And this has been going on for quite a while already, so people are really messed up right now, yeah, when it comes to that integrity between their body, emotion, and mind. Yeah, that if there is no spiritual contextualization, they can get quite lost. So what is this the time here, these next 2-3 months for? To make a choice. It's that bifurcation that I've been talking about for over 10 years now. We must make a choice. We have the power to make that choice. And that's the purpose of these omnious dark forces. I talked about them a lot, guys. Go to my YouTube channel. Yeah, there's workshops about the duality of darkness, the nature of darkness, describing the dark forces, describing the forces of light. All there, 800 videos, okay? I don't want to go deeper into this here right now. I just want you to know, yes, dark forces are there. And yes, they have a purpose. Guess what the purpose is? Well, I've been calling it nonchalantly the confrontation with untruth. The confrontation with untruth serves us in what way? I want to hear one of you guys to conclude that sentence. How does the confrontation with untruth, which also implies the confrontation with darkness, how does it serve us on our journey? Matthew, you just went through it. You might be the first one to be able to say this out of an internalized experience, not just because I said so.
Yeah, no, it for me it was like you say, the day after. There's always something after this. That feeling of knowing that, okay, I'm going through this, but I'm just going through this like I'd go through a normal day. But this is special, actually.
Do you know?
I don't know. That's what's
Do you know
that was
where that knowing?
resonating.
Do you know where that knowing comes from? What part of you?
Yeah, it's the part above me. It's the observer. If I can use those terms to.
It's good terms, yeah, because that's literally what it is.
The observer is just observing the body going through its journey and going, okay, I'm listening now. I mean, because the irony of this whole thing is that I haven't touched coffee after 30 years of drinking it since this experience. And I thought it would be the hardest thing to give up. And it's literally, no, I'll put it down. There was a difference. The coffee was controlling me in perception. And I put it down. And I'm not picking it up again. And it's that, so down into a physical, it resonated to that voice saying, no, that's enough. And the body was talking.
Nice.
But that's the best I can offer.
Yeah, so don't be afraid of using spiritual terms, Matthew. I mean, you're an engineer, so it's hard enough for you to even come to places like this where people talking will. Okay, but don't be afraid of that. Yeah, so this is really the important insight here is that when things get to a place when nothing makes sense anymore, okay, spiritual contextualization, yeah, which is a function that our mind has as well. Yeah, we're born with this. We all have this. Humans have done this 400,000 years ago. We have to contextualize something in a higher version. We can all feel this. We can all feel the witnesser in us, yeah, that can witness our mind doing something, our body experiencing something, and our emotions going through something. That part in us, yeah, call it what you want, call it higher self or true self or divine self or Jesus, doesn't matter. But it's there and you can experience that for yourself. And once you know it's there, okay, it helps you to get through these things. Yeah, it speaks to you in a form of reassurance and empowerment, even in your darkest hour. So much to the inner experience of your higher self. Now that's literally what that is. But coming back to the initial question, how does the confrontation with darkness, the confrontation with untruth, the confrontation with all these dark forces that have now named themselves and came out in the open, it's wonderful, how does that serve us?
I think it serves us in showing us a space that that is a view, and it's like that duality. You can see the darkness or you can see the light. You know, if we didn't see the darkness, would we appreciate the light?
Yeah. And you just a few minutes ago gave us a testimonial of what it felt like for you feeling the light. It's not waterfalls and unicorns, guys. It's the knowing deep in your heart. That is the light, the sword of truth, the sacred art, Christ consciousness, higher self. Doesn't matter how you name it. That is your light. There's a part of you that knows what this is. It's darkness. And that's the choice you will need to make. Deep stuff, guys. Yeah. Fast and furious. I hope that this choice becomes easy to you. If you need help with this, if you need someone like me who does this for a living, helping people through those kind of phases or experiences, yeah, then email me, yeah, or sign up for my programs. There's going to be a special here starting after the summer solstice, where I'm letting people experience the energetic training club. That's like participating in these ongoing energy healing sessions that we have here. Like it's an energy training gym at transCODES for 30 days with a special offer. So pay attention, sign up for my website so that you get all these specials, yeah, and these coupon codes and so forth. Until Monday, when I do the daily Sacred Self meditation with you guys, I'm wishing you a good time. I hope that your awakening and transformation isn't too hard. Yeah, come back here, comment on this channel. Yeah, there's daily meditations with wonderful practitioners here every day. Yeah, and you can comment here and people will respond. Okay, you're not alone. Stay conscious.